talking about everything you need to know about NFTs and smart contracts. And we're going to be starting right now. All right, as always, getting started with Brent. How we doing today, man?
I'm always amazed. Always something new. I didn't see that one coming. So I am doing great. I'm happy to be here. And there are a lot of opportunities in this whole smart contract NFT space. And everybody listening to this should probably listen to it again and then also share it. And don't forget, if you have an NFT or a smart contract that you really NFT or a DOA, decentralized autonomous organization that you've been looking at and you want us to dissect it, please put it into the comments. Get in touch with either Doc or myself directly, and we will do just that in later episodes as we can. So, yep, let's jump in.
Good time. So today we're going to be talking about there's a lot going on in the world. A lot of things, people are moving and shaking and trying to do different things. And you can see how fast people are trying to move in talking about DAOs, DOAs, all of these things, and looking at what's going on with NFTs. We're going to talk about one project and just showing you where the opportunities are, but looking at what you need to do in your due diligence. We're going to bring back an oldie but goldie. We were talking about this a couple months ago with Yakuza Cats, right? Well, look at what Yakuza Cat just announced what they're doing, right? It's a DAO, it's a DOA. They just decided to say, okay, we're going to be doing earn to play, earn and trade, the token, all this stuff. Listen, guys, a lot of people are trying to move very quickly because they're seeing where people are going and what people are trying to create. So just about 3 months ago, they were going to be all in on just earn to play NFTs. And now they've switched over, right? They're using different vocabulary. This is showing you how fast things can shift, and especially this market. So let's just take a look, and stop me if anything you have questions on this, Brent, or anything like this.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just take a look real quick. So if we're looking at this, Yakuza Cats, they keep going up and down for a little bit. The floor is 0.1 approximately or so. That's okay, but you see that the trading it's all over the place, and again, their idea of what they're trying to do is still kind of up in the air. So even when there's different kind of projects, thinking about what they're trying to do long term, that's a huge thing to look at, and this is just one of many kind of NFT projects that are looking at the audience, and they're trying to see where they need to go.
Yeah, and for anybody who's watching this thinking, okay, well, you said it's moving fast and things are changing, but what does that mean? What does that mean for me as either a person who's just supporting Yakuza Cats or as a person who wants to invest in Yakuza Cats? Do I have to buy the NFT? Do I have to buy the coin? What's the difference between buying the NFT? What's the difference between buying the coin? You have to know these things in this vocabulary now that they're moving to become a DOA. Like some of you all who don't watch Doc and I's show on a regular basis may not even know what a DOA is. And if you don't, it's a decentralized autonomous organization. And the way I like to describe it is, currently we're all used to having board of advisors. And our board of advisors will vote on something, wants to vote. Then it's still, there's a process to get it accomplished, done. And you still have to determine the time frame. Most of the time, the way DOAs work is that it's depending on how it's structured. You can have voting rights when you get into the DOA, and the vote pretty much determines the direction of the DOA, depending again on how it's structured. Coins differently, and again, it all depends, right, Doc? Like I think everything depends on what they give authority with the coin, like what type of authority you have with the coin. But in most cases, the coin just means that as the interest increases, normally the value of the coin increases in some proportionate way. Doesn't always mean that, but normally it does. So you get the coin just hoping that it appreciates. You buy into the DOA wanting to be part of the actual community, wanting inside access.
Yeah, exactly right. And again, and by the way, I think I led you astray on this one too, Brent, because what I mean by this is how to say it. Because I always used to call it DOTA because I used to play Dota 2. And when I was looking at it, I always called it that. Now, some people are like, it's DAO, it's whatever. Listen, whatever it is, we're trying to make money. So you can call it chicken soup. I don't really care what you call it. So I'm just letting you know. And if anyone in the chat is like, it's pronounced this way, listen, there's going to be something else called, and there's going to be an acronym 2 months later for something else. So I'm just trying to be real with everybody. But yeah, the thing is, when you're looking at these things, decide what's really going on, because exactly what Brent is saying, everyone's ability or what you're going to be doing is totally different based on what they're saying, right? So we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, Friends with Benefits. They started in one capacity and then they released a token. They did all of these things. The Friends with Benefits fundamentally is totally different what Yakuza Cat is doing. Mm-hmm. And when people are coming out with these different organizations and what they're doing, to tell you the truth, a lot of them are making it up as they go along. I mean, honestly, if you're looking at it and you ask them, but what does this mean? The community will figure it out. The community will do this. So just understand, this thing is so new. There are so many things being rewritten and being, what are we doing here? If they want to be, upfront as possible and let you know, hey, we're still trying to figure this out. Some are more honest than others, but talking to many different groups, some that are making a couple million with their releases, they will be the first to say, hey, we're still trying to figure this out. There's other ones for brand purposes, they don't want to show that vulnerability, so they're not saying those things. But when you're looking at things, there are very few entities, DAOs, DOAs, that are really doing this, that have been around more than a couple of months. Friends with Benefits is probably, and that team is probably the most established in the group, and that's less than 2 years old, right? So just imagine that. The setting the precedence of this kind of structure is less than 2 years old. The rest have entered the space in the last about 9 months or so. And you're seeing a lot of NFT projects, because they don't know what they should do for their next release, now shifting over to this model because it's hot in the space.
Mm-hmm. And just to jump in on that, that also plays into understanding. Whatever you believe you understand today is probably going to be different in 6 months. It's probably going to be different in a month. So some of these organizations that you're buying into, some of the people you're buying into, you want to make sure you trust the leadership. Like, let's just start there. If you don't trust or know or understand the leadership, then trust that you're just throwing a dart in the dark. And, expect that that return. If you throw a dart in the dark and you turn the lights on, more than likely you miss the target. Yeah. Point blank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and exactly, and so that's a good point, Brent. And a lot of people, if you've been looking at my content, even on the other channel past this, I started working on crypto and NFT projects actually late last year, but I didn't understand it, honestly. Blatantly, I just didn't understand it. If you look at past episodes, I talked to founders of different crypto and NFT game companies, startups that were from Vader Media that they backed, things like that. And then from there, I was able to understand what's going on. And I'm telling you, I keep saying, listen, I'm not getting paid by them. And by the way, it's free to go on BuildSpace. But BuildSpace, the projects where you're being able to create your own NFT collection, where you're understanding how to build on Solana, how to be building out on, and this is the new one, build your own DAO with JavaScript in a weekend, where you're talking about how you build your governance, how you do all these things. And then we'll be talking about Avalanche later. But this allows you to understand I'm only doing these projects to learn and how to build it myself. But the advantage is now you can be a sniper in finding the right projects that a lot of people are just finding it by hype. And when you're looking at what's going on Discord, Twitter, people just don't want to be last. So you're seeing a lot of people gravitate towards projects of, oh, we got to do this. This is what's hot. We got to do this. We've got to get, it can lead you down the wrong path, or maybe not what's for your risk tolerance or what you want to do long term. So just a couple different aspects. Some, like Brent obviously knows his numbers, knows the structure of business, finances, and can apply that knowledge to what's going on here. Pick which side that you want to be informed on, and then be able to make an informed decision when you're investing or looking for opportunities.
Yeah, and I'll just put it out there. I mean, Doc and I pretty soon are going to be making some announcements where some of you all will make decisions on if you're going to take this ride with us or not. But we're establishing the fact that we're not new. You know, Doc has been studying this to understand how the dough is. We're going to stick with that. And actually, I've had somebody correct me in a meeting room, and it was like, that's not right. And I was like, well, that's what I'm calling it. And so I was like, decentralized autonomous organization. Do you know what it stands for? And so, but that's all that matters. But anyway, the point is, we've been establishing ourselves. You know, my background, I've been a licensed stockbroker for over 20 years. And we're looking at it from, you know, does the technology make sense? And then we're looking at it, does the dollar amount, does the finance of this project make sense? And from that, we're making our decisions, which is why we work well together. Some of you all are just really, truly looking at what's going on in social media ecosystem. And that is the sole basis for investing. That should not be it. You know, you might have had some wins, and I'll tell you, it goes back to, like, if you've ever heard the term day trading, it's a lot of people in the stock market that want to day trade. It's fun, it's sexy, it's exciting, it's fast, and they start day trading. They think it's the best way to make money. And then all of a sudden, the market actually does what the market does. It starts to change. It starts to morph. And all of a sudden, these people who were just honestly just getting lucky realize that they never had a strategy, and they don't understand the inner workings of the market, and they get ripped apart. And all the money they made over the last, like, however long is just gone, and they start to dig into that hole. We don't want that to happen to you all in this space, because it is happening. There's a lot of people going in thinking, oh, this is exciting. And if you never heard the term pump and dump, you might hear it later on. Some of these people are savages, and they know when they create these companies that if they can just get a lot of excitement around what's going on, people will have FOMO, fear of missing out, and they're just going to move forward and give them their life savings or their mortgage money or their kids' tuition. And then all of a sudden, these DOAs and other NFTs projects are just gone.
Yeah, exactly right. And I was thinking about, you know, it was the other week, someone was hit me up, a friend. They're like, oh, you know, what's this all about Bitcoin? I keep seeing record highs. And then last weekend, they're like, oh my God, like, that's why I can't be in here. This is all a sham. I knew this was like lies, you know, and if you're riding just the narratives of the news and not understanding what it means to stake a coin, what that means when you're yielding, what it means when you're trying to be part of an AP or looking at an APY, what's looking at these things, it can allow you to be swayed very quickly or look at quote unquote experts and not understand how to diversify, how to look at strategic opportunities, and also too how to evaluate the creators. And one of the things, this is just a small tangent, but we'll talk about like basically partial ownership and all this stuff with like CryptoPunks. You know, a lot of people just used to, whenever a person that bought CryptoPunks would go and buy something else, they would just track the wallet and buy exactly what they're buying. Okay, that's one way to do it, but that runs out very quickly if you're not understanding how much ETH does that person have? When did they buy it? Can they have the same kind of bets that they're doing that you have the tolerance of doing? Is it the same? Most of the time it's not. It's not even close. So having understanding of who's creating different projects, what's the mission and where they're going to be going, that's a whole other issue. So we're going to be showing just one opportunity quickly, talking about what's also in the news, what to look out for, but also what to do your own research about, and then come back. So let me know where you want me to go, Brent, and then I can go that direction.
Do you want to pull up something with friends from? You want to stay here? Do you want to stay with your Yakuza cats?
No, because I think. Listen, you already know, I already have blood in the water. That's blood in the water. That's blood in the water. The reason I say that is they never planned for it. This is a classic, something went drastically wrong, and they're trying to make sure that the floor doesn't drop farther. So they're trying to incentivize the community. Like, this is if this was not on your roadmap and now you're switching over to call all of this, that is a warning for me. That's a warning. Now factional wars, they did have all of these things. This was true, but it's something to me. We'll see if it's right. I'm still holding on to it. We'll see what happens. They're changing out the logo. They're changing out what they're going to be doing. It's all about DOA right now. That's just, to me, it's too many things too fast if you didn't plan for it. That's me.
No, we've already seen it happen before. So
yeah. So one thing, of course, one of my boys, Drew, that does trends.vc, trends.co is different, but he was talking about fractional ownership and all of those things. That is a real thing. That's what's happening. But we're looking at specifically what's happening with NFTs, all of these things, and what's going on with fractional everything right now. So you'll look at the NFTs that are happening of what's going on. That just basically means instead of you buying one CryptoPunk or one anything, when you're now being able to say, hey, everyone, we're going to put into a certain amount to buy one thing, and you'll have this much rights to this piece. And depending on how much you're putting in is associated with how much you're going to be basically have almost like governance over it, or what you're going to be doing. Excuse me. So if you're looking at, let's see, we talked about this briefly, but now it makes sense. If you're looking at Party Bid, that's exactly what they've done. They've actually made it a lot more group friendly. I look at it. If I think I showed you this a couple months ago, it looked not this good, to be honest. But now it's showing what parties that you can vote on, what they're looking for, party balance, how much is going to be the ETH that's necessary for it. And so you can just join a party or start a party of buying something. And it really, you can view all of the different parties that's happening on the platform. This looks a lot nicer than what they used to have. I personally just thought it looked like trash, but they're making it a lot more legitimate. And by the way, Land, look at this. So let's take a look at this. I don't know about this project, actually. Take a look. Land, okay, Brooklyn. I have no idea. Let's see about this. Let's Google this.
So people can just go to purchase something and start their own group so other people can purchase it with them.
Exactly. And of course, again, you don't need to know people. Like, so this, you know what this reminds me of? There's a service in China that just totally blows up. Hold on one second. All right, hold on one second. I'm on one page. You're trying to have me jump over. Okay, calm down. Sorry about that. Have you ever heard of the company Pinduoduo, Brent?
No, I've never heard of that.
So Pinduoduo is pretty much one of the fastest growing Chinese companies. I think it outpaced Alibaba right now. And what it's doing is Pinduoduo allows you to group buy. So say, for instance, imagine you're on Alibaba or anything that you're using, and you're like, oh man, I can get this for like $10. But they're saying, hey, if you get 4 people, it drops it down to $4. So you can send a text message right there and be like, hey, like, Brent, I'm trying to buy this real quick. Can you go in on this? And it allows you, and it says you got like 25 minutes for the price to drop. And they kill it. And it's the funniest thing where they were talking about that, like, you know, electronic cells, all those things. The craziest thing that makes them like the baseline that gets people in the door is like essentials, toilet paper, you know, everything like that. They get people, and then guess what? They're in the ecosystem, and then people just buy in just droves all the time. It's a crazy business model. And
that sounds insane. So who gets the actual product?
So the product goes to the people that bought it. So even if you're like, hey, I need an extra party, most people are like, you know what? I do need toilet paper. I do need, you know what? Hey, why not? Well, I'll get that. But it's so cheap. It drops it dramatically cheaper that it's like it's a no lose situation. You're just like, yeah, like I need that. But that's basically that mission that they already got you in the ecosystem. You just signed up in the app. You got this deal. And now they're sending you push notifications. And then you're going to be buying so much more.
Wow, I've
Yeah.
never heard of this.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. So this reminds me kind of like this in a you know in a way where this is just for strangers. But
Mm,
so because a lot of times if I'm gonna just go in to try to buy something, if me and Brent had like a MetaMask or something, we could just go in and be like, hey, we're gonna fund this ourselves. But say for instance, we might need other people like Constitution DAO or
mm,
something like that. You might need something. The same thing with us right here. Maybe I might get the hype going and then I just start dropping this link to, hey, I need someone to join this party with me. And now you're going to that next level. So it's pretty interesting. This is happening in a lot of different ways, more structured ways, things like this. And then you have more like people where they're talking about they just ape in, they just go crazy and they just go into these kind of things. Very different on what everyone's strategy for fractional NFTs and things, but this is only going to be the beginning.
what was that? Go back. You said party bid.
Yep, partybid.app.
All right, I'm gonna check it out. But you know, I'll say this, Doc, is it's actually not that strange because essentially what it is a DOA that is designed like immediate access or immediate purchase access.
Yep.
So
exactly right.
I mean, it's really what it is. It's a mutual fund.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to peel back the layers, all these things are just reincarnations of other things we've done. And so that's why, you know, having these backgrounds, we could see through the crap really fast. And you can see the technical, like this technically structure is not going to work. And I'm like, that's nothing but a mutual fund. And mutual fund or ETF. You know, it's all these things that people thought it was some unique new. No, it's not. It's just a recreation of something else.
If it works, it works. There's a reason.
Yeah. So, I mean, with that being said, you know, did you want to wrap it up for today?
Wrap it up.
So everybody, it's a lot happening out in this space. You know, when it's talking about NFTs, smart contracts, DOAs, and the such, you have to know what you're buying. And if you're sitting on the sideline thinking, oh my gosh, I don't want to get ran over, I don't want to become the sucker at the end of a deal, then stay with Doc and I. We are trying to arrange a system that allows for our community to be able to enter into this investing world and make some money while still staying as safe as possible. All investing has risk. But when you're, you know, kind of hanging with Doc and Brent, we're going to do our best to make sure the information, the knowledge, the experience that we have leads to you all being able to make more money and us, because that's the whole purpose of, you know, being in business and investing in general is to make money. So we definitely want you to, you know, share our information, contact us if you have questions. And again, if you have something particular you want us to look at, let us know, and we will do our best to try to look at it.
Good times. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. And again, thank you so much for your